Okay, say good morning to each one of you. Call this meeting to order at 9:06 a.m. Jim, can you say a prayer for us, please?
Thank you for this rain, help the crops, and then also look after the rivers and lakes, like that way the flooding and stuff for the farmers and all the families that are affected, the roads, traveling, and all of that. And also say, watch over our relatives and friends in the four directions, take care of them, watch over their wants and needs, be with them. Just that you look after our relatives that are ill, those that are in the hospital, those that are in institution, suffering from cancer, and also look after the ones that are traveling, going to be with a relative or coming back, or wherever they're going, that they have safe travels, and when they return home, they'll be okay. Just that you look after our soldier boys, our soldier girls, wherever they may be, and watch over them, protect them, bring them home safely, so we can enjoy them. You can say thank you to them, and you can honor them like that, and also that they be in good health in mind, body, and spirit. So to look after our children, our grandchildren, all our little ones like that. They are our blessing, but also they are our future. That we teach them the good things in life. We pass those teachings of our ancestors along to our children. And then also a special blessing for our lady relatives, those that are our backbone of our society, the things that they do for us, and that special gift that they have is the gift of life. I know that there's a lot of things going on in this world like that, and we're going to take care of them for us. I just wanted to say thank you for all that you have done for us. We're pitiful like that, but we're also very blessed. I hope.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jim. Okay, we have the agenda in front of us. Are there any additions to it or changes? It's on here. There are no changes, additions, or changes to the agenda. Chair will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
Move it.
Second.
Any discussion? Any objections? No objections. Motion passed 6-0-0. Reading of the minutes. May 6, 2019, regular meeting.
To approve.
Been a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Been motion second to approve the minutes of May 6, 2019. Discussion? Any objections? No objections. Motion passed 6-0-0. Reading of the minutes, May 23rd, 2019, General Council.
to approve. Second.
Second. Been motion and second to approve the minutes of May 23rd, 2019. Discussion. Any objections? No objections. Motion passed 6-0. Reading.
Sign that hemp bill.
Yeah. Reading of the minutes, May 30th, 2019. Treasurer's report. Move it, Mr. Chair. There's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second. No, Louis.
Louis? Okay. Motion second to approve the minutes of May 30th, 2019. Treasury report. Discussion. Any objections?
You have the changes that all wanted in that memo?
Oh, yeah. Change it, add, modify to add the 250 per card. Al wanted to mention in the minutes to add the 250 processing fee per card.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We'll make those corrections. $2.50.
Any objections to the motion? No objections. Motion passed 6-0. Ratify 5 signature fundraising match for Lady Indian Summer BB team.
Mr. Chairman, 7-0, Rollins in.
So noted. 7. Ratify 5 signature fundraising match for Lady Indian Summer basketball team.
Most to that effect.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Been motion second to ratify fundraising match for Lady Indian Summer basketball team. Discussion? Any objections? No objections. Motion passed 7-0. Ratify 5 signature letter of support reference self-governance project.
Motion to ratify. Letter of support for self-governance project.
Second.
Been motion second to ratify letter of support reference self-governance project. Discussion? Any objections? No objections. Motion passed 7-0. Ratify 5 signature Richard Walker request Pendleton blanket for Anthony Walker.
Second.
Been motion and second to ratify Richard Walker request Pendleton blanket for Anthony Walker. Discussion? Any objections to the motion? No objections, motion passed 7-0. Ratify 5 signature, adopt resolution 19-112 FY 2019 DOI Winnebago Groundwater Resource Assessment Phase 1.
Move it.
Second.
Been motion second to ratify resolution 19-112 FY 2019 DOI Winnebago Groundwater Resource Assessment Phase 1. Discussion. Any objections to the motion? No objections, motion passed 7-0. Ratify 5 signature, adopt resolution 19-113, authorizing request for funds, Wallace Faulkner.
Motion to ratify.
I'll second that, Mr. Chair.
Been motion and second to ratify resolution 19-113, authorizing request for funds, Wallace Faulkner. Discussion? Any objections to the motion? No objections, motion passed 7-0. Ratify, adopt resolution 19-114, rescind resolution number 18-07.
I'll move it.
Second.
Been motion second to ratify resolution 19-114, rescind resolution number 18-07. Discussion? Any objections to the motion? No objections, motion passed 7-0. Ratify resolution 19-115, authorizing request for funds, Carla Lapointe.
I'll move it, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Been motion second to ratify resolution 19-115, authorizing request for funds, Carla Lapointe. Discussion? Any objections to the motion? No objections, motion passed 7-0. Ratify resolution 19-116, authorizing request for funds, Dion Hunter.
Move it.
Second.
Been motion second to ratify resolution 19-116, authorizing request for funds, Dion Hunter. Discussion?
Who's scared?
Any objections to the motion? New car. No objections, motion passed 7-0. Ratify Resolution 19-117 authorizing request for funds, Gray Snowball.
Move it, Mr. Chair.
Second. Go ahead, Chair.
The motion second to ratify Resolution 19-117 authorizing request for funds, Gray Snowball. Discussion. Any objections to the motion? No objections, motion passed 7-0. Ratify 5 signature fundraising match for J Bass USA National Basketball Team.
Mr. Ratify.
Second.
Been a motion second to ratify a fundraising match for J Bass USA National Basketball Team. Discussion. Any objections? No objections, motion passed 7-0. Ratify 5 signature, appoint Mahoney Group as tribe's broker of record for work comp, crime, and liability and property insurance.
Move it, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Been motion and second to ratify 5 signature, appoint Mahoney Group as tribe's broker of record for work comp, crime, liability, and property insurance. Discussion? Any objections? No objections, motion passed 7-0. Ratify 5 signature, adopt resolution 19-123 AAIAN Early Head Start Child Care Partnership Grant 2019.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Been motion second to ratify resolution 19-123 AAIAN Early Head Start Child Care Partnership Grant 2019. Discussion. Any objections? No objections, motion passed 7-0. New business. Approved travel for June 8th Ponca Sacred Corn Planting.
Move it.
Second.
Been motion second to approve travel for June 8th Ponca Sacred Corn Planting. Discussion? Any objections to the motion? No objections, motion passed 7-0. New business, adopt a resolution, Nebraska Department of Roads, NDOR Agreement Project, NH-75-4, parentheses 114 in Nebraska.
Mr. Chair, are we getting our 3% tax money off this project?
Yes, we are.
We'll make sure.
Motion to adopt. Second.
Been motion second to adopt resolution Nebraska Department of Roads Agreement Project NH-75-4 in Nebraska. Discussion?
What's the number on that one? It's 1/4?
124?
124?
Good.
Any further discussion? Any objections to the motion? No objections, motion passed 7-0. Old business, Maunka Morgan / LPTC request to donate tribal land in Ho Chunk Village to expand student housing.
Any people,
Oh,
and each other, ITV. That color version of that? Looks better in color, I guess.
Mr. Chairman, Council, that last resolution was on 125. Direction for the Nebraska Department of Roads Agreement Project NH-75-4. 125.
Everybody has a copy of, I just typed up what our objective was. So I just gave you the color version, but you should have the printed copy. Our objective for this agenda item was to secure these 4 parcels of fee simple land that the tribe owns to build either a 3 or 4 story student dormitory at the earliest convenience. This is our plan A, and we have a plan B. We also have a plan C. So, but the fastest development timeline for us to get more students at the college is by providing them housing. We've targeted this possible location because the infrastructure is already there, and so the development cost should be lower for us. We don't have the development cost yet, but the 10 parcels that we're still negotiating with the land corporation on price, that's a longer development time horizon. That's not going to get Little Priest where we need to in the short term. So we haven't given up on that, but we'd like to get the dorm built in a place where there's infrastructure already, and it's convenient. Students already walk from the 2 dorms, the Cha student dormitory and the Chakshep student housing. They walk to class, so it's about the same distance. So we're asking the tribe if they would donate these parcels. If there's no interest in donating these 4 parcels, I have requested to find out what the potential cost of these 4 parcels would be, and we would attempt to purchase them from the tribe. it wasn't in our original plan to purchase, so that's why we're asking for the donation, so it wasn't in our original budget. But once we secure the land, then I can go ahead and get a design, and we can start looking at the cost of that. I'm not overly concerned about the financing of the building, because the actual students themselves will most likely fund and service the debt to this building, and it won't have a real financial strain on Little Priest. Once we get it built, once we get students in there. Now, these parcels, apparently, what I learned is the tribe was supposed to build an administration building. That's what I had heard, so I don't know if that's still in play or not. And if you're not going to build the administration building, then we would certainly request that these parcels be donated to the college. And if not, we've identified some parcels or land in Ho Chunk Village 2.0 and four different sites, but they've got to put the infrastructure in there still, so that would delay us a little bit, but apparently they're supposed to do that this year. So that's my plan B, to get this dormitory up and running.
Mr. Chairman, is it my understanding that the tribe can't sell land? So that's out of the question as far as selling that.
So you can't sell it. Fee simple land. Donate, gift it.
Yeah, any one of those would work. You're talking about the land with that great big piece of equipment sitting right there.
Yeah.
Right behind the statues deal.
Right there, yeah, that's it.
They already started some work over there. What are they doing?
I think they're just moving that dirt out and using it for those other houses. I think they were just taking that dirt because it was piling up.
Mr. Chair, didn't the tribe give that back to HCI? Back there?
No.
There's
No,
a
this
portion
is-
of that. No.
They set that aside for, as Malika said, tribal, for the administration building. We haven't decided what we're gonna do with it.
Well, we weren't using it, and that's what he wanted it back, I remember.
I don't recall that.
Our plan is to build anywhere from 100 beds to up to 200, depending on what the cost is. We may do it in phases, but we're pretty confident we can at least get an additional 100 students. Our goal would be to double our existing enrollment, which averages right now between about 135 to 150 students per semester. Financially, that's going to change everything for Little Priest moving forward forever. Changes our recruiting efforts because we have housing for them. And that's going to be probably a cornerstone of our financial stability moving forward, for sure.
There was a question that was raised a few weeks ago concerning the apartment housing. We had 2 apartments up there that were, I believe, originally designated for Little Priest students.
Yeah.
And it turned out that, other than tribal members were housed there.
Okay.
Okay, so what's going to happen in the future?
All right. So I inherited that project, and that tax credit project has been a pain in my back, man, to put it lightly. But I've had to deal with it. We've completed whatever paperwork needs to be done. It's a pretty complex financing project, but the way we are a partner in that partnership, Little Priest is the entity. And I believe after 10 years, we get an opportunity to secure the asset, the way I understand it. But our immediate benefit is that they have a point system for you to get in to become a tenant. And if you are a student and you meet the income guidelines, because it was lower income, income guidelines, then you're in. What's different about the income guidelines versus like the normal HUD guidelines is that once you're in, you're in. Like your income could rise, and you could live there as long as you want, and you don't have to leave under that tax credit program. So, but you get additional points if you're Little pre-students, and there are Little pre-students there
How
that
many?
live there. I don't have the exact number in
You
front of
should
me,
know that.
but I don't manage it.
Well, you come in here asking us to fund stuff and we donate things to you.
So it's the Warrior Apartments. You know, I mean, I could certainly find out how many of our students live there. Some
It's
of them
important
some
to
of them
know
have
that.
recently graduated, actually. So it's not in control of Little Priest. That apartment is not. It's not in our control. We don't manage it. We're just really a beneficiary, a name, I think, to secure the tax credits. I think this is my conclusion of how that was developed. So, and some students did benefit. I mean, I think even some employees lived there as well.
So Mahuka, what you're asking is that the tribe donate the land to, and you would become the owner of that particular parcel?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I think, remember, Lance come down here and then, there's some parcels identified belonging to the tribe. And then, so then, there wasn't moving on any of those things, so then it seemed like I gave him back to him, and then he put some apartments in there right now. So, but he probably should get an update from HCI, as far as the village, but what parcels are identified as belonging to the tribe as far as the administration building, there was a spot in there that we gave back to them. And we put apartments going up, I mean, yeah, apartments going up right now.
Mr. Chairman, I'm kind of concerned that we may want this in the future, once this new road project goes through. This is gonna be an awful dangerous place to come in and out of with all of that traffic through here. This could be even worse. So I wouldn't be anxious to give up what's been designated for us at this point. That's not to say I don't want them to move ahead with the dorm project somewhere.
So have you identified any other site?
Yeah. Lance had contacted me, and they have that master plan, which you've probably seen, the printed master plan.
On the North 40?
Right. He's marked out 4 actual buildings that are printed on there that we would put, that would be our Plan B. And the way I understand it in our brief conversation was they're using some IHS money to lay the infrastructure, and they were supposed to break ground. I don't even know where they're at with that. But I know that the infrastructure is already here, so this just shortens the time horizon. Even if there were if the tribe moved forward to provide this piece of property, then maybe Little Priest, we could budget for securing something of the equivalent value in Ho Chunk Village 2.0 for the tribe's administration. We just do a swap or something. I just want to throw an option out there. I'm just trying to move forward and trying to get the dorm built.
Monica, do you have the resources to start building it if you were given the land?
We would get a design, and I've already met with Liberty probably about 3 times already, Liberty National Bank. Our original conversation was that we would use the USDA Community Facilities Program, which guarantees 80% of a community facility bank loan. And after meeting with Brad Nepper the past few weeks, he indicated to me that might not be necessary because we've done a test already with Liberty, and we bought one of the houses in the Ho Chunk Village, It was valued at $250,000, and we have a 5-year note on it. That's going to be paid off, and essentially the students are paying for it. So it's having a neutral effect on our budget, essentially. And that's very similarly, that's how we would finance this building. So depending on the number of beds, we would strategically put the number of beds and then calculate the rent per semester, and then that's how we would service the debt. Because it would be a loan. So Liberty was saying that they'd probably give us a loan, but I don't know what that amount is just yet, because I need a design first.
I think I would almost support anything that you and Lance came in here on agreement to. If you both came in. In the meantime, Lance can tell us what the status is on this and also explain to us what that property out there can be turned over to you for.
Mhm.
What was that, 10 acres?
Yeah, he was,
I think you two
Oh, that's
people's
it.
agreement on what you would want to do out there would
think
be
so.
receptive to us.
for this parcel or the 2.0, the North 40? 2.0? Okay.
Because, well, I don't know about this parcel. Like I say, this parcel, I as a council member wouldn't be real anxious to give it up at this point,
Okay.
but I would be open to give up somebody else's.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I don't mean to be greedy, but it's just future planning on our part.
Yeah.
Curtis?
Well, but I think we'd like to help you advance your project, but there needs to be some clarity though on this 2.0 project, because our land people said there's some errors and we don't have total ownership to develop it. So that needs to be cleared up, whatever that is,
On the 2.0?
and 2.0.
Oh.
No, that's a different parcel. That concerns heirs. The
But 2.0.
2.0, that's clear.
Sure?
HCI, yeah. The one you're referring to is up over the hill, east of Ho-Chunk Village.
That's what it's talking about, that's 2.0.
Well, these parcels specifically will be right along the highway. So Chairman White's talking about
Well,
east.
that's not 2.0 then.
Well, I think it is for residential, but the commercial part is what I'm talking about, which is right on the highway. That would be the new development. So that may not be in question. They seem pretty confident that, in his words, he just said they didn't have the funds to start developing it. And so for me, that was an opportunity for Little Priest to potentially get us more visibility on the highway, which is a real goal for Little Priest from a marketing standpoint, because we're off the road. And it'd be nice to have a physical presence as people drive by every day, you know. So I'm okay if the tribes, I had to do my due diligence, and I got a request. These 4 parcels, if it would make things, I think, quicker for us. But if I have to, I'm just going to go to Plan B, and that's the 2.0, and try and pursue it that way. And Plan C is the longer development time horizon. That's the 10 acres. So you got to figure this won't be our only dorm. You got to figure that we're going to have more housing down the road.
Okay. I'm very concerned. I thought that the long-range plan was to develop that 10 acres over there, and it seems to me that everybody just wants to kind of take the easy way out when it comes to building or expanding this campus. I hear a lot of talk about it, but I don't see anybody trying to make any overtures to do anything over there in that 10 acres. So you're talking about building dormitories for students for our campus, then why wouldn't you want to develop that parcel of land? It's already designated to Little Priest Tribal College.
We're going to develop it.
Then that's where I say build it. That's, in my estimation, is probably the best option.
For right now, financially, the development time horizon, we still haven't completely secured those 10 acres.
And how do you plan to fund this project? Who's going to maintain it? Ongoing? How is that all going to work out for Little Priest?
I've already discussed the financing with the bank. We have 2 options. we can use the USDA Community Facilities Program, which guarantees 80% of the note. Now, that was the original conversation with Liberty National Bank. Now, Brad Nepper's telling me that since we're almost paid off this other piece of property, that we have 8 students in there per semester, they're financing the mortgage for us. We will do exactly the same thing with this piece of property. Once it's developed, the students are going to finance the debt, help us service the debt, just from rental revenue. And so he has seen that with the house that we bought, the Chalk Shep Student Housing on Eagle View Street, and that's going to be paid off pretty soon here. And so we're going to do something very similar. So he told me that you may not have to use the USDA Community Facilities Program, which is fine because that's just less paperwork for us, reporting paperwork to the government. But that's how we're going to do it. That's how we're going to finance it. The students are going to be a major portion of financing that project.
Year round.
Yeah.
And how do you propose to maintain and keep it all in order and running condition?
So those are the things that we met at our big huddle last Friday. We had a planning session to take a look at how would this affect our personnel, resident assistants, facilities, maintaining it, things like that, additional security. So once we get the design, then we can start figuring out those pieces, the personnel, the operational pieces basically, or the operational costs. We will tie the dormitory rent amount based on the overhead, servicing the debt and the operational overhead.
Seems to me that you need to get this all worked out before we even come down to how we're gonna do this.
I can't move forward if I don't have the land. So I mean,
So you have land, it's over in that 10 acres.
the 10 acres still has not been secured. I've still got to go through a lot of bureaucracy just to secure that completely. So I'm going through those pieces and wrapping it up. And we come to a standstill because of Irita's sent me the email that it was going to be $54,000 a year to lease. That's not what we had agreed to in the beginning, and that's not in our budget. I could take 54,000 and just start buying up fee simple land. You know, and it didn't make any financial sense for Little Priest to pay $54,000 in lease a year, every year, and then after 5 years renegotiate again, where it could potentially go up again.
Can you do that with your board, without your board's approval?
Do what?
Purchase fee land, like you said, take that 54.
No, absolutely not. The board would have to approve that. I take all this stuff to the board.
Ron was saying, I'm in support of the 10 acres. And the other day when you left, I'm willing as one council member to waive that for a few years until you get it built and established, your funds coming back into it. I'm willing to myself waive that land, that 10 acres up there by the college, because I don't believe the students like walking, especially in the wintertime.
Oh,
Yeah. That's what I'm kind of looking out for too. I'd almost bet they don't like walking that distance, to school. But when that comes back around, I would be willing to waive some years, so you can build that up there.
The cost of the 10 acres when I started the project was the farmers lease it at a certain amount. And in that discussion, I was told like at the per acre lease amount that a farmer would pay, that if we paid the same or a little bit above. So that's what I walked away with. So when I looked at the $54,000 a year for 10 acres, that's really the sales price or the purchase price, and we're being charged that every single year. So that financially, that doesn't make sense for me, for Little Priest, So in the meantime, I've got to move forward because I'm trying to meet a timeline. If I don't get this built, I'm trying to take financial pressure off our institution. This will generate tuition revenue, fee revenue, meal revenue, and it will also increase our full-time equivalency from the Bureau of Indian Education. We get that a year later. That number will go up. And if we have any non-natives, that will boost our state revenue. So it has a rippling effect, but I need beds. And so we're maxed out. Our existing student housing, we're maxed out. Those places are full. And so we know just by going out and recruiting that students, we could get more students from different places, but we just need the housing, that's all. So,
And okay, there is a difference in securing financing with trust property and fee simple property. And I can see your approach that if you go to the fee simple and using this layout that you gave us is that it's fee property. So it'd be easier to secure financing on that side of it.
right.
And I can see that, the 10 acres up there, you would have difficulty in doing that. But, thinking about what Kenny said and some of the questions raised, I think that we need a better plan. And your plan B probably sounds more feasible.
Okay. Okay. That's what I need to do.
And you need to work with your brother on that part of it.
And that restriction that Kenny was talking about, does that apply to deeded land? Deeded land?
Securing financing is what you're talking about?
Donating or selling land?
Well, if airshare property, they could donate it if they wish. It depends on the heirs. Is that what you're referring to?
Oh. What's on villages on deeded land? The 10 acres we're talking about is trust land.
Mm-hmm.
Can we sell deeded land?
That's a thought. Need to get with the people that know. I think right now, Monka, your best option is B.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time. I will move to Plan B then.
Sorry, Luca.
Have a good day, guys.
Yeah.
No action on this item. Tribal Council items, approved travel for VK to National Indian Health Board second quarter board meeting, Washington DC, June 11th through June 13th. It's the reimbursable travel.
Second.
Been motion second to approve travel for VK to National Indian Health Board second quarterly board meeting, Washington DC. Discussion?
Discussion.
Yes.
I'm all in favor of our esteemed colleague there making travels and off into various places to help in regards to those seats that she sits on. I think it's a good thing. It's good for our tribe. We have a representative over there making overtures to help us. I also have concerns that there's things that we're trying to do here, and we need to move on that in regards to some of our future business. And I know that Victoria plays a lead role in that, and I would like to see her kind of around here to help us move forward on that. And if she can't be in two places at once, well, I think we need to be expeditious in what we want to do in the future with our business transactions. So I have a concern with that. I just want to bring that to the table. That's all I got.
Okay. Any further discussion? Any objections to the motion? No objections, motion passed 7-0-0. Tribal Council items number 2, approve travel to NCAI 2019 mid-year conference in Market, June 23rd to the 27th.
You put this one in? Okay.
What'd you say, Jim?
You put this one in?
Oh, there's Tori and I.
Oh, okay. Move it in.
Second.
Been motion and second to approve travel to NCAI 2019 mid-year conference in Market, June 23rd to the 27th. Discussion? Any objections to the motion? No objections, motion passed 7-0-0.
Mr. Chairman, while we're on this, I'd like to make a note that I'm not traveling to Oklahoma City for that enrollment program. I found out that it was really basically for enrollment programs that are set up and how tribes are supposed to, or the best way to operate them. It wasn't about legislation or government guidelines that I thought it was gonna be. So my going to this wouldn't bring back anything profitable for the tribe.
Oh, yeah, it was the tornadoes.
Yeah, no, that didn't scare me. It's just that it isn't something that,
No. Okay, that's,
I just want to say something in terms of what Roland was saying. One councilman shouldn't hinder the advancement of the tribe or what we're trying to do as far as our business. I just want to say that you choose where you want to be. You know, and you're effective. You can't be effective both places, but you got to make a choice. But as far as us collectively, we got to, you know, move forward. You know, whoever's here. That's all I want to say. I give credit's due, but we got to be proactive that way.
she also did say that if ever there's a meeting where it's gonna require 9 signatures, wherever she would be on our behalf, she would be available for call-in. So,
okay. Okay, this ends the agenda items. Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move it.
I will second.
Been motion second to adjourn. We are adjourned at what time? 9, or rather 10 o'clock.